Hi, I'm Marnie Stockman, CEO of Lifecycle Insights. Thanks for checking out our demo. Before I hop in and show you how to get life cycling, let me tell you a little bit about how we came to be. So the developers and I come from the world of EdTech, where I ran customer success and they built an assessment platform and ran support for the largest EdTech company in the world. In doing that, as running customer success, I did a ton of quarterly business reviews. I've seen them bad, I've seen them good. We aim to make them more strategic all the time and really work as a consultant for our business. We were interested in sharing what we learned and how to scale customer success in terms of business reviews and our support and service mentality into a different space. And I ran into, who is now my business partner, an MSP at volleyball one night. We'd known each other for 20 years. And that night I asked if there was a problem in the managed service space that needed solving. And he said, yes, I spent 6 hours a day cobbling together my business review. And I'm still not sure that data is accurate, that it looks good. And it certainly took entirely too much time to prep. Is that something we could build? And we decided that it was. So that was the birthplace of Lifecycle Insights. We launched at IT Nation 2019 with 0 partners, and now we have over 700 partners. So I'm excited to show you what we have and how we aim to save you time and really help deliver value and strategy to make money for you and your clients along the way. So I'm going to talk through 3 different pieces. I'm going to talk through the automation that we bring because that saves our partners a ton of time. Then I'll talk to our assessment portion, which is not automated. This is where you're driving business value and showing the business risks that your partners have, and then tying those pieces together to build that technology roadmap so that you can help be a strategic partner moving forward. So I'm going to dig in to start. Right out of the gate, you're looking at a dashboard for a particular client. You can see in the drop-down list here that I have my list of clients that I can choose from. And as I select new clients, my dashboard will update and change. Where do I get this data? It starts with a primary integration. So we have 4 PSAs and 1 documentation tool right now. We integrate with ConnectWise Manage, Datto Autotask, Halo, Synchro, and IT Glue. We pull over your companies, your contacts, and your assets in order to deliver what you see here. And there are a few other pieces that we'll pull along the way too, which I'll share in a minute. You can see in the upper left, we have some data quality scores. I hate to tell you the secret, but the data coming from your PSA might not be all that clean and there might be some duplicates, and we're going to let you know about it. And we're also going to give you ways to clean it up, and we'll do some of the cleanup for you. We do warranty lookups on Dell, Lenovo, HP, Microsoft Surface, Cisco, Meraki, and SmartNet. So right out of the gate, we often eliminate the need for warranty lookup tools or the manual effort if you have been doing them that way along the way. And we deliver the asset lifecycle management reporting across your entire client base, across an individual client, and by asset type. So I'm going to hide that graph and show you one of the features of Lifecycle Insights. So you can see we've got the colored cells, typical stoplight reporting, red is bad, green is good, etc. But we call this swatching. So if I look at the operating system column, I'll make that a little larger, I can see those color swatches. And if I really just want to talk about the red expired assets, I can swatch away the other colors. So now I'm down to those devices that have the operating systems have expired. I could come on the left-hand side, bulk select them, and choose an action, create a recommendation from this. We're going to talk more about these recommendations later, but the important part here is this is a quick way to aggregate the assets you want to push through to the budget to a specific time period. Again, more on that later. This particular report, you can ship to your inbox, your partner's inbox, or you can even set up security groups to allow your partners to log right into the platform. So if you want to use Lifecycle Insights as a portal, you absolutely can control that they have read or read-write access to any of the pages along the way. So any of the menu items down the left-hand side, you can select to have them access if you prefer. The same type of reporting that we show for asset lifecycle management, we have for user lists. So again, this is where we're aiming to see where folks are in your PSA or not in your PSA, so red, but are in Microsoft 365. So they have a license in Microsoft 365. The next column shows they're red if they haven't logged in over 30 days, and then red if MFA is disabled. We're hearing more and more conversations around needing to really grab those potential security risks with licenses that are just languishing out there, not in use, but still with passwords and access to systems. We have some other integrations that you can include in addition to Microsoft 365. We have an integration with Augment and Saslio, which are SaaS monitoring tools. We also have integrations with Breach Secure Now and KnowBe4 for cybersecurity phishing training. So if you have any of those, there's never any cost to add other integrations into Lifecycle. So if you have any of those, you can include that data in the report. I've added the Breach Secure Now column so you can see, again, we can see which users are in Breach Secure Now, their latest ESS score, phishing fail rate, etc. And in our more reports, we have standalone reports for all of those integrations that I've mentioned, plus a couple that I didn't mention. So Breach Secure Now, here is that report. Let me move myself out of the way so I can hit my back arrow. We also have Microsoft Secure Score, as well as ticket summary. So you can select different boards or queues. If you are a ConnectWise Manage or Auto Task partner, we have those available. I'm going to continue with automation and jump down to contracts. With contracts, if you are a Manage or an Auto Task partner, we can import your contracts, agreements, additions, and ConnectWise lingo. And this is because we're aiming to build and automate a budget forecast for your partners. Not only can you import them from your PSA, but you can also manually add them. So if you don't have Manage or Auto Task, you can enter all of yours. If you are a Manage or Auto Task partner, you can add additional services that maybe you're not providing to the client. Examples would be printer copier, phone service, ISP providers, etc. Maybe line of business software solutions. There are a few reasons for doing this. One, if you enter their phone contract in here and you get their notice date and you realize that you could have an upsell opportunity to sell them a VoIP provider where you might get a kickback on, you get insights into when would be a good time to have that conversation. On the other end, if you've entered in here their Salesforce contract, and that's an expensive one, maybe that's the insight that gives you is it's not the month to go tell them they have a server refresh. The other piece is, and what Lifecycle partners tell us all the time, is that the most value they get from delivering the budget is they get a true seat at the table as a trusted advisor. So everybody's talking about the strategic advisor, the trusted advisor, and how to build that trust. If you're the one helping them build their technology budget, you're providing a lot of value. That's a very sticky relationship and a trusted one. So that's the value we see in adding contracts and delivering a budget forecast to your partners. So our budget forecast has a couple different views. We've got a spreadsheet view as well as a detail view. And this is where I can dive in and see all of the detail of all of the assets that are expiring, or I can take a look at contracts that are coming due, subscriptions, and again, any of those recommendations, which we started talking about. So I can dig in and take a look at exactly what's happening in the environment. In the budget, you can look at 1 year detail view or 3 to 5 year wide angle view. You can build the budget monthly, quarterly, or yearly with up to 12 cycles. But we see a lot of folks do a combo platter of 1 year, again, really tactical, and then a more strategic budget as you look down the road. So those are all of the, that's the automation piece, right? Again, we're aiming to automate asset lifecycle management, user reporting, and a budget forecast for your partners. Next up is the assessment portion. So this is not automatic. This is manual, and there's a lot of flexibility here. So some folks have asked if they can bring over assessments from other platforms. Absolutely, we can import assessments from CSV. Some folks want to just take a look at our default assessment, and some folks want to start from scratch. So we have a library of assessments available, and you can take a look and see if any of those are right for you. You can cobble together a few, or again, you can start from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our default assessment. Frankly, most of our partners end up looking at the default assessment and edit it to make it their own. When I'm in the default assessment, not a surprising turn of events that it's red, yellow, and green stoplight reporting, right? Where red is bad and green is good. You can easily score the responses with little radio buttons. You can see any previous responses. So if you've given this assessment before, you can see how they've scored, as well as any public or private comments that were made. So if it's been a while since you've done the assessment, or if someone else did the assessment last time, you are able to see those comments and what next steps you need to take. You also, thinking about those next steps, can see that you have the ability to create a PSA ticket if something needs to be addressed immediately, right? So if there's something that needs to happen, you can kick that off from here. I mentioned the ability to add public and private comments, and also you can include scoring instructions and explanation remediation tips. So here is where we see a lot of folks really start to scale this portion of their VCIO process. The automation at the beginning saves a ton of time. The next struggle for MSPs is to work the owner's way out of having to do the assessment pieces and hand it off to other folks. So to be able to document this really puts in place the ability for you to scale that beyond one person and for everyone to deliver a really consistent business review. Once you have scored the business review, we've got a couple different ways we can output this. First, in the overall summary, it's really obvious how your partners have scored and where they have some concerns. Down below, I can see my hardware category scored a 70, and it's obvious to the CEO at your partner that that's not as good as the other scores, and they may ask for you to dig in and tell them more about that in particular. One of the pieces of Lifecycle Insights with the assessment component is we don't charge for assessments. So our pricing model is based on active clients, and that's really around automation. We have a free 30-day trial for 5 or 25 clients, and we recommend starting small. So plug in, look at your 5 clients, get your process in place, and then scale up as you go. But you're able to do prospect assessments above and beyond your client base, or even above and beyond the 5 clients that are active in the platform. So you can create assessment-only clients that will allow you to do these assessments across all of your partners, again, or prospects. The next view I'm going to show you is the way folks really like to deliver this report for prospects. And that's our comparison report. So this is where I get a view of, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. We've done a review of your technology health, and you've scored a 41%. You can see in this top bar here. When you come work with us and we've onboarded you, we'll automatically move the needle to an 81%. And you can even see the detail down below on how that happens. What some folks like to do in competitive situations is to switch off the detail view. So you just get the categorical view, right? This is how we're doing in hardware and security and business continuity, et cetera. So that, again, competitors would have a hard time explaining how they're going to move the needle the same way that you can describe. I mentioned at the beginning that we're going to talk about all of the automation and then all the assessment components, and then the ways that we tie that together for you. So I can go to item detail, which shows up after I've scored the assessment, right? So as I score the assessment and I come up with red, yellow, green items, et cetera, I'm going to choose to look at all of my at-risk items, and I'm going to grab a couple of them. And one of these needs attention items. And now I'm going to create a recommendation from here. If you think about the power of the assessment, is you're really helping drive the conversation around risk and concerns you have for the customer's business. They understand these conversations. What they don't particularly want to hear about or necessarily understand is all of the flux capacitors and gadgets that you're going to do to fix the problem. So I can associate the assets right with the recommendations. It'll build the budget. I can add labor, material, recurring costs, etc. I can schedule it into any time period. And when I build that recommendation, it does two things. First, it pushes to that budget forecast, which I already showed you. But second, it also builds a recommendation roadmap for your partner. So here we can go in and talk about, and I might want to filter this just by proposed. Let's look at the proposed projects that we've talked about. Are there any we're ready to move forward with? When do we want to move them to? You can show completion, you can show ones they've declined, etc. So there's a lot of power around being able to roadmap with your clients. And we don't just build that recommendation roadmap for a single partner, but we also give you, the MSP, your recommendation roadmap across all of your partners. So you can see here that we've built out, we've scheduled $88,000 worth of project work in Q3. And if that's what your project team can handle, then maybe we should start booking some for Q4. So there's a lot of power in aggregating that information, not just for a single client, but across all your clients. There are two more pieces I want to talk about. One is Report Builder. So the goal for Lifecycle Insights is to deliver an easy button where you can design your report or multiple report templates that you would want to deliver in business reviews. Some of our partners have built a mini review that they do maybe once a month, and then quarterly they do a larger one, and then an annual view, they do a full template. Others have a quarterly one that they implement with all of their clients every quarter. So it really depends on your best practices and standards, but we give you a lot of flexibility of what you can add to your template or templates. I'm going to show you my favorite template where I include an agenda, an executive summary, and then I start getting into the reports that I've already shown you. The assessment summary, assessment comparison, 5-year budget forecast. And if you think about it, I've already made these settings in this report template. I've already told it I want a 5-year budget. I want a 6-quarter budget. I want this particular view on my asset list, right? I added a comments column. I swatched out the green and blue expiration dates, etc. I've added my user reporting, my breach secure now reporting, tickets, etc. And as I go through this, if I switch companies and I switch from Creative Designs to Get Well Medical Services, it just rebuilds the exact same report in the exact same way for that other company. So it's a really fast way to rebuild those same templates. You can download this to Word. A lot of our partners download these and then put them in a spiral bound notebook to take, right? Or a cover sheet, etc., to deliver to the partners. Or we have presentation mode. And with presentation mode, this means you no longer have to build PowerPoint slide decks. And the beauty of that is that unlike a PowerPoint that is static screenshots, I can still function within the report itself. So when I'm in the budget page and I'm talking about assets that are overdue, if my partner said, well, what are those 3 workstations we have overdue? I can drill in right there in the conversation and show them exactly what assets we're talking about. So a lot of power there. The other piece I wanted to show is our scheduler. And on our scheduler, this is a view into when we need to be delivering business reviews and the status of them. It does not push to your calendar, right? So it's just a view in Lifecycle Insights. And we can see where I have completed, prepared, scheduled ones, etc. And if I dig into a particular business review, I can see not just when the meetings are scheduled, who has attended, but any notes that I've taken. And this is the place that I like to point out. All along the way, we have green buttons where you can create PSA tickets, but they turn blue once you've created the ticket and you can watch the status, see if they have been resolved, etc., and kind of track progress along the way. So there's a lot of power in the scheduler component. Lastly, let me jump over to our pricing page and explain that. Everything I've talked about today is in the VCIO package. So we have a free trial for up to 5 active customers or 25 active customers. So you can use the slider to move along for 30 days, which is full functionality in the platform. Beyond that, it is the number of active clients that you have inside the platform. So, up to 200 clients, and beyond that, it is $150 for each additional 100 clients above and beyond 200. So everything I talked about today is in this VCIO package. We do have a second module called the Customer Success module, which is around customer segmentation, customer health, and stack alignment. And then finally, we have an unlimited warranty lookup module called AIR. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to do all the things, but I'm going to start with just 5 clients, but I want warranty lookups on the rest of my clients, you can get that for $79 a month for unlimited customers. You can get that as an add-on to VCIO or as a standalone package. So that is what we've looked at today. Again, is the VCIO package. And we're aiming to deliver, better QBR reports for sure.